From the skyscraper collapse in Battlefield, to digging a pit in Minecraft, to turning your car into modern art in BeamNG. Destructible environments are one of the most satisfying parts of gaming. But how do they actually work? Why can you blow up a wall in one game, but not even scratch it in another? Today we're breaking down how games simulate destruction, and the tech that makes it possible. We will go over 4 most common types of destruction: pre-made chunks, voxels, mesh deformation, and terrain deformation. And look how developers make them running well on your device. Starting with the most common and most optimized type, which is based on pre-made chunks. The Battlefield series Frostbite engine made this famous in Bad Company 2. Walls, fences, and even entire buildings are split into pre-modeled pieces. Each object actually has multiple views, the intact mesh, and one or more destroyed versions. When damage hits, the intact view is swept out for the fractured pieces, and then the physics engine makes them fall naturally. This approach is efficient, because developers know exactly what shape each destroyed version will have, so the map still works after like 20 minutes of constant shelling. Rainbow Six Siege takes this idea farther, breaking surfaces into many smaller panels or strips. That's why you can make tiny peek holes with a rifle, or blast out a door-sized opening with explosives. Under the hood, each destructible wall has invisible hit zones, and when they are damaged, the game just removes specific chunks from the model. It is predictable, multiplayer-friendly, and still feels satisfying to play with. Then there is the other end of the spectrum, Voxel Destruction, where the world itself is made from small 3D elements. Minecraft keeps it simple, every block exists in a 3D grid. When you mine a block, the game updates that grid and rebuilds only the affected chunk. This is why the world is divided into 16 to 16 sections. Recalculating the entire map for every change would overload the game. Teardown uses the same voxel principle, but on a much finer scale, with every voxel having collision, weight, and the ability to be affected by explosions or gravity. To keep performance manageable, the game merges static voxels into a single object, until they are disturbed. Space Engineers takes voxel destruction even further, by adding structural integrity simulation. Constantly checking whether every part of a ship is still connected to the main structure, and splitting it into separate objects when connections break. Voxel destruction is the most flexible of all methods, but also the hardest to make work at large scales without destroying performance. By the way, if you're interested in making games by yourself, check my gamedev Patreon. Besides lots of other useful posts, recently I added an article with a deeper dive into how voxels work. So, not all destruction is about removing pieces. Sometimes it's about bending what is already there. And that's where mesh deformation comes in. BeamNG leads the pack with its soft body physics system. Beneath each vehicle's model is a skeleton of nodes connected by beams, acting like springs. The physics engine calculates how each beam stretches or compresses, moving the car's mesh in real time, so dents, folds and crumples look exactly like they would in their real life. It is incredibly realistic but also CPU intensive. The game runs its physics hundreds of times per second. Wreckfest uses a simplified version, with fewer nodes and calculations, so it's playable in multiplayer, while still giving you satisfying crunches and twisted metal. This type of destruction works best for vehicles and objects that need to keep their shape while still showing damage. In other cases, the focus is on the ground itself. Terrain deformation has been around for decades. Into the games like Worms, the terrain is stored as an image, and explosions simply erase pixel from that image, leaving craters. In 3D, things get much more complex. From Dust uses a voxel-based heist map, where the ground is essentially a giant sheet of heist values. Lower the heist in one spot to create a crater, raise it to form a hill, then rebuild just that part of the terrain smash. Pretty effective. Before moving on, I will take 5 seconds to kindly ask you to like, sub and comment, that will help me a lot. So, no matter which method is used, developers rely on clever tricks to keep destruction smooth. Many games use fake debris, particles and effects to make an explosion feel bigger, while only a few chunks are actually physics objects. Games also sleep objects once they stop moving, turning them into static meshes to save CPU cycles. In multiplayer, destruction is often simplified to a state change that is sent over the network. For example, wall X destroyed, and each player's computer handles the visuals locally. And of course, most games only make specific objects destructible. This isn't laziness, it's to stop players from breaking the level or bypassing entire missions in seconds. So why isn't full destruction in every game? Performance is one reason. Every broken object adds more physics, more collision checks, and much more data to render. The other is game design. If you could destroy every wall in a competitive shooter, the match may be unplayable within minutes, because all cover is gone. There is also the matter of storage. Detailed destruction models and physics data take up space, and it is really easy for a game to grow into a massive file size just to support it. But whether it's bringing down a skyscraper, sledgehammering a wall, or accidentally digging into lava, destructible environments make games more immersive, dynamic, and endlessly fun. The next time you see a building crumble, or a car fold in half, you will know the tech and the tricks that made it happen. Right now I strongly advise you to watch another video from the series, How Games Create Infinite Worlds, where I will show you different uses of procedural generation. Have a nice day, I will see you very soon, we are still on the internet.